Welcome to the UFO's podcast, where we cover all things alien and UFO. Welcome to the UFO's podcast, and I'm your host, Jeff Zim, Rendlesham Forest. The Rendlesham Forest incident of December 1980 stands as one of the most significant UFO cases in British history, often dubbed Britain's Roswell. The events unfolded near RAF Woodbridge in Suffolk, England, which was being used by the United States Air Force at the time, creating a complex international dimension to the case. The incident began in the early hours of December 26, 1980, when security personnel at RAF Woodbridge observed unusual lights appearing to descend into Rendlesham Forest. This initial sighting coincided with what astronomers later identified as a fireball meteor visible over southern England. The servicemen, believing it might be a downed aircraft, entered the forest to investigate. The timing was recorded as approximately 3 a.m., though there has been some dispute about exact dates and times in various reports. During the investigation, witnesses reported seeing a metallic object with colored lights that seemed to move through the trees. Sergeant Jim Peniston later claimed to have encountered an unknown craft, though this wasn't mentioned in initial reports and lacks corroboration. Local animals reportedly became agitated during the incident, with witnesses describing sounds like a woman screaming, potentially attributed to muntjac deer, known for their distinctive distress calls. The local police were called to the scene shortly after 4 a.m., but reported seeing only the Orford Ness lighthouse lights. The following morning revealed physical evidence that sparked further interest. Servicemen discovered 3 small impressions on the ground in a triangular pattern, along with burn marks and broken branches on nearby trees. Local police called to examine these marks suggested they could have been made by animals. This evidence was photographed by Georgina Bruni, who later published the images in her book, You Can't Tell the People. The case gained additional credibility through Lieutenant Colonel Charles I de Halt's involvement. Halt, the deputy base commander, led a follow-up investigation on December 28th, documenting his observations on a microcassette recorder. His team detected unusual radiation readings using an AN/PDR-27 military radiation survey meter, recording levels of 0.07 milliroentgens per hour in the landing site area, compared to background levels of 0.03 to 0.04 milliroentgens per hour. Similar radiation bursts were detected half a mile away from the presumed landing site. The physical setting played a crucial role in the events. Rendlesham Forest covers approximately 5.8 square miles of mainly coniferous plantations situated between RAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge. The forest extends about 1 mile east of the East Gate, ending at Capel Green, where additional events allegedly occurred. The Orford Ness Lighthouse, about 5 miles east of the forest, was one of Britain's brightest at the time and features prominently in skeptical explanations of the incident. Several key pieces of evidence emerged over time. The Halt Memo, written to the Ministry of Defense on January 13, 1981, became public in 1983 through the U.S. Freedom of Information Act. The Halt tape, released in 1984, provided real-time audio of the investigation. Original witness statements obtained in 1997 revealed that some participants, including Ed Cabansag and John Burroughs, ultimately identified the mysterious lights as coming from the lighthouse. The official response was notably minimal. The Ministry of Defense maintained that the incident posed no threat to national security and conducted no in-depth investigation. When their files were finally released in 2001, they consisted mainly of internal correspondence and public inquiry responses, supporting their claim of limited official interest in the case. Local police officers who responded both nights found nothing unusual, attributing ground indentations to animals and noting only the lighthouse lights. Inspector Mike Topless later wrote that one of the responding officers returned in daylight and remained unconvinced of any extraordinary occurrence, noting that powerful light beams from RAF Bentwaters and the Orford Ness Lighthouse could create strange visual effects under certain weather conditions. Skeptical explanations for the incident include multiple natural and human-made phenomena working in concert. The initial descent of lights matched a documented fireball, while the mysterious forest lights corresponded to the Orfordness Lighthouse's 5-second flash pattern. The landing marks were identified as rabbit diggings, and these star-like objects matched known celestial bodies, including Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. Alternative theories have emerged over the years. Some suggested a crashed Soviet satellite, though no evidence supports this claim. In 2018, a story surfaced suggesting the incident was an elaborate SAS prank in retaliation for earlier mistreatment by USAF personnel, but this too was later revealed as a hoax. In 2010, Base Commander Colonel Ted Conrad provided a significant counterpoint to the extraterrestrial interpretation, stating that nothing resembling Halt's descriptions was observed by other personnel positioned to verify the events. Conrad criticized Halt's later affidavit, claiming government cover-ups, and disputed Peniston's account of touching an alien spacecraft, noting that Peniston never mentioned this during contemporary interviews. The incident's legacy continues to influence popular culture and tourism. The Forestry Commission created a dedicated UFO trail in 2005, and in 2014, they commissioned artwork based on reported UFO descriptions. The case has been featured in various media adaptations, including a 2014 film and a BBC Radio 4 drama. Jenny Randles, who first reported the case in 1981, later expressed a more nuanced view. While maintaining that some aspects remain unexplained, she concluded that no unearthly craft were likely present in Rendlesham Forest, suggesting instead that ordinary phenomena were encountered under extraordinary circumstances. The Rendlesham Forest incident remains a compelling example of how multiple factors, including natural phenomena, human perception, institutional responses, and the Cold War context, can combine to create an enduring mystery that continues to generate discussion and debate decades later. Its significance lies not just in the reported events, but in how it demonstrates the complex interplay between official documentation, eyewitness testimony, and scientific investigation in understanding unusual phenomena. The Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights incident of March 13, 1997, stands as one of the most extensively documented and widely witnessed UFO events in American history. Over a span of 3 hours, from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m., residents across Arizona and Nevada observed mysterious lights traversing approximately 300 miles of airspace, creating a phenomenon that would generate intense public interest and debate for decades to come. The evening's events actually consisted of 2 distinct incidents that have since been carefully analyzed. The first occurred around 8 p.m., when witnesses reported seeing a massive V-shaped craft with 5 lights. The initial report came from Henderson, Nevada at 7:55 p.m., followed by observations from a former police officer in Paulden, Arizona, who described seeing reddish-orange lights disappearing over the southern horizon. The Lay family, Tim, Bobby, their son Hal, and grandson Damian Turnage, provided one of the most detailed accounts, initially spotting the formation from 65 miles away. As it approached, they described it as resembling a carpenter's square with embedded lights, moving silently overhead at just 100 to 150 feet altitude, before proceeding toward Piestewa Peak Mountain and Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. During this same time frame, between 8:30 and 8:45 p.m., witnesses in Glendale observed the formation passing overhead at high altitude, partially obscured by thin clouds. Amateur astronomer Mitch Stanley in Scottsdale made a significant observation through his telescope, clearly identifying individual aircraft flying in formation. Even actor Kurt Russell, piloting his private aircraft that night, reported the unusual lights to do air traffic control, adding a notable voice to the growing number of witnesses. The second major event took place around 10 p.m., when Phoenix residents observed what appeared to be a row of brilliant lights hovering in the sky that slowly descended. This sighting generated numerous photographs and videos, making it what author Robert Schaefer described as perhaps the most widely witnessed UFO event in history. Military and aviation experts have provided detailed explanations for both incidents, tracing them to Operation Snowbird, a pilot training program operated by the Air National Guard out of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson. The first sighting has been attributed to 5A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft flying in formation. These military aircraft, operating under different rules than civilian planes, used steady formation lights rather than standard blinking lights, contributing to their unusual appearance. The later hovering lights were identified as LUU-2 B/B illumination flares dropped by Maryland Air National Guard, A-10s during training exercises at the Barry Goldwater Range. Lieutenant Colonel Ed Jones later confirmed his participation in the flare-dropping mission. Scientific analysis of these flares' luminosity at 50 to 70 miles distance matched witness descriptions. The apparent hovering effect was caused by the flares' parachutes interacting with rising heat, while their disappearance coincided with them falling behind the Sierra Estrella mountain range. The mountain range's presence created an illusion of lights appearing and disappearing in sequence when viewed from certain angles. The incident gained additional notoriety through the response of then-Governor Fife Symington. Initially, he approached the situation with levity, holding a press conference featuring an aide in an alien costume. However, in 2007, Symington made a dramatic reversal, claiming he had witnessed something otherworldly that night. As a pilot himself, he stated, "It was bigger than anything that I have ever seen. It remains a great mystery. Other people saw it, responsible people. I don't know why people would ridicule it." Similar light phenomena were reported in Phoenix in subsequent years. In February 2007, lights recorded by the local Fox News television station were attributed to F-16 aircraft dropping flares during training at Luke Air Force Base. Another incident in April 2008 initially caused speculation when lights appeared to change from square to triangular formation. This case was resolved when a Phoenix resident admitted to releasing helium balloons with attached flares from his backyard. Confirmed by police helicopter observation, the Phoenix lights have made a lasting impact on popular culture, inspiring numerous creative works. These include the documentary The Phoenix Lights, We Are Not Alone, featuring astronaut Edgar Mitchell and former Governor Symington, and fictional adaptations like Night Skies, The Phoenix Incident, and Phoenix Forgotten. The event has also been featured in various books and scientific analyses examining the relationship between unusual aerial phenomena and human perception. The incident demonstrates how extraordinary aerial phenomena can appear when military operations intersect with public observation. While official explanations point to conventional military activities, supported by evidence from multiple sources, including military records, pilot testimonies, and scientific analysis of flare characteristics, the event continues to captivate those who believe something more mysterious occurred in the Arizona skies that March evening. The scale of the witness response and the variety of documentation make the Phoenix Lights a significant case study in mass sighting events. It illustrates how multiple factors, including military operations, atmospheric conditions, witness perception, and the interaction between light and terrain, can combine to create seemingly inexplicable phenomena that challenge our understanding of what we observe in the night sky. The incident remains a compelling example of how extraordinary events can appear both mysterious and mundane depending on one's perspective and access to explanatory information. Thank you so much for listening to the UFOs podcast. Please remember that we want your UFO and alien stories, so send them to us at Youfose.com or stories@Youfose.com directly to have us read them on the show. Stay tuned for the next episode and share with everyone.